everyone, I'm Pooja from By the Lakeside Art Studio. I'm a watercolor artist, surface pattern designer, and a content creator. Just like last year, I'm so excited to bring one more 5-day project series just for your kids. I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Did you know that the World Earth Day is celebrated on April 22nd? Well, to demonstrate and support Earth Day, today we are going to paint the earth using some beautiful shades of green and blue. Sounds exciting, right? Let's jump right into our today's tutorial and get started. So let's look at the art supplies that we are going to need for today's project. First and foremost is the watercolor paper. If you have watercolor paper, make sure to use the textured side of the paper, which is the correct side. If you don't have watercolor paper, then try using a thick cardstock paper. If you try to use drawing paper or sketching paper, then your paper is certainly going to buckle up the moment you put water on it. So make sure your paper is thick enough. You're also going to need some watercolors. For this project, you're particularly going to need varying shades of green and blue, maybe 2 shades of green, a light green and a dark green, and 2 shades of blue, light blue and dark blue. We are also going to use some yellow ochre to mix into our green. So those are the colors that we are going to need. And you will also need a round brush, preferably a size 6 or size 8. We will also need some kind of thick white paint, maybe an acrylic paint or a fabric paint. And if you don't have either of these, you can also use a white gel pen. What I am going to use is white gouache, which is a thicker version of watercolor. So make sure to use any kind of white paint which is not transparent. You will need 2 cups of clean water to rinse your brush, 1 cup to rinse your blue color, and the other one to rinse your green color. And you will also need a tissue paper to dab and clean your brush. You will also need a circular lid of any box or a compass to draw your circle. And lastly, we are going to need a pencil and an eraser to make a basic sketch of the earth. Let's begin with our sketch. I'm using a circular lid of the box to draw my circle, and the diameter of this lid is approximately 9 centimeters. So you can also choose to draw a circle of this size. And then I'm placing this lid in the center of the page and just drawing a circle around it. I'm going to keep my sketch very light so it's not seen through the paint. Now let's try to sketch the land on the earth, which is the green portion. So I'm just going to draw some rough borders to represent the land. You don't have to be precise and perfect while drawing this shape. It just needs to be approximate. I'm starting out from the top center of the circle and drawing a curved shape which is not so perfect. You can use the sketch on the left side, the earth that I've already painted. So using that as a reference, try to draw the lines of the green portion, which is the land. Okay, so those are the 2 sections of the land, the top and the bottom. Now let's draw a small piece of land on the right side. Something like this. So the part on the left side is water, and the part on the right side between the pieces of land is again water, and rest everything is going to be green. So for painting water, I'm going to use about 3 to 4 shades of blue. My first shade of blue is going to be light blue, or to be precise, it's a lighter shade of turquoise. My next shade is an ultramarine blue, which is quite bright and cheerful. The third shade of blue that I'm using is a deeper turquoise. It's absolutely okay if you don't have so many shades in your box. So make sure to use at least two. I'm sure you must be having a cobalt blue and a Prussian blue or a navy blue. So those two shades are enough. And that is the deeper blue that I'm going to use. So I'm going to use roughly about 4 shades. Okay, so now that our blues are ready, let's start by painting the water on the left side of the earth. I'm going to cover this water with a layer of water, real water, and just have a nice thin coat of water. Make sure that you do not paint the land, the green portion. Okay, so now that this area is wet, I'm going to use my light blue, mix a lighter shade of this blue, and start putting the color on the left side of the earth. And because the surface of the paper is wet, it will instantly start bleeding and blending, and the color starts to run in the direction of the water. So I'm just applying a thin layer of this color on the outer edge on the left side. Make sure you don't have a watery puddle on the surface of paper. If you feel you have a lot of water on your brush, make sure you dab the brush nicely on the tissue paper. And then I'm using some thick paint and reapplying it to have nice dark color, and I'm spreading that light blue inwards. And once that blue is placed on the outer edge, I will move to the next shade of blue, which is the ultramarine blue, and start applying it next to the light blue. And I'm simply dabbing my brush. I'm not painting the color, but I'm just spreading the color in different directions so it naturally starts to merge with the light blue. We want the natural blending and mixing to happen, so make sure that you don't just apply the paint but allow it to bleed on its own because the surface of the paper is wet. I'm just placing some dots here and there and allowing them to blend by themselves. I think that's the best part about using watercolors, that they blend on their own. Then finally I'm using the last shade of blue, which is the darkest, and placing it next to the land, the green portion, around that border. And because the color underneath is wet, it will instantly start bleeding again. So that's our dark blue mixing into the light blue. I'm just placing some random brush marks and dots and letting the color do its own thing. Okay, so that's our left side of the earth covered with varying shades of blue, which is the water, and that's how it's going to look like. All the colors nicely blended. Now let's move on to the right side of the earth, and we will color the water portion, which is between the two green portions. So apply water on this section And be mindful that you are not putting water on the land or the green section, but around it. Okay, so now this section is nicely covered with water, with a layer of water. Your paper will have a nice sheen to it when it's covered with a layer of water. And just like how we did it on the left side, I'm going to start by placing the lighter blue and let it bleed onto the paper. Take your own sweet time, and if needed, pause the video and do it slowly. Okay, I'm going to move on to a darker shade of the same color. So this time I'm using less water and more paint. So I'm getting a lot more saturated paint on my brush, and I'm simply spreading it on the surface. Okay, so now let's move on to the next shade of blue, which is the ultramarine blue, and I'm going to place it on top of the light blue, and the two colors will mix into each other, just like how we did on the left side. Very easy. I'm simply mixing the color and letting it bleed everywhere. And then I'm using the darker shade of the same color by using a dry brush and using more of the pigment. Okay, so I placed that on the inner side. Now let's move on to the third shade, which is a deeper turquoise, and I'm going to apply it near the border of the land, a bit on the right side too. So the deeper blues will be used on the inner side and lighter blues will be used on the outer side. So as you go close to the land, you will use darker shades of blue. And now finally, using the last shade of blue, the darkest, which is the navy blue or the Prussian blue, I'm going to paint around the border of the land and let this color spread like so. When you are painting smaller areas, make sure to use the tip of the brush, so that will help you reach the small corners and crevices of the sketch. And when you're painting bigger areas, you can use the broader belly of the brush. So that's our right section of the water completed. And now there are these two small sections in between, which are also covered with water. So I'm quickly going to apply some blue color over there. So we drew some small pockets of water, so don't miss out on those and just fill them with blue color. And after you cover all of these blue sections, make sure you wait for all of it to dry completely before you move on to paint the green sections for the land. Okay, so we have covered all the blue sections on our earth. Now we will do the green sections, which is the land. And to do that, we are going to use two shades of green, a light green, a dark green, and some yellow ochre to show the brown land. So these are the color swatches that you are going to need. A very light shade of green, a yellowish green shade, Then we're also going to use a bright green or sap green and one darker shade of green. Now, if you don't have dark green, you can simply mix Prussian blue or navy blue into your light green to make a darker shade of green. So these are the 4 shades that I'm going to use to paint the land. Now let's start with the top portion of the land. I'm going to cover that with a layer of water, a thin layer of water. Make sure that you do not have puddles. If you have excess water on your brush, please dab it onto a tissue paper and spread the water evenly on the surface. If needed, turn your paper around so you can apply the water nicely. And even before you do that, make sure that the blue section is completely dried up so your colors won't smudge. That is very important. And now I'm going to start painting the land. And to do that, the very first shade that I'm going to use is the yellow ochre. I'm simply going to place this color onto the surface. I'm going to make some random dots and brush marks at various places and simply let it bleed onto the surface. And then moving on, I will use the next shade of green, which is a very soft yellowish green. I'm going to place it around the yellow ochre and the two colors will instantly start mixing into each other. Then let's move on to the fresh shade of green, the sap green, and let's place it on the outer edges of the land. This color will also start bleeding into the previous two colors, and I'm simply making some random brush strokes. I'm not smudging my brush onto paper, but I'm lightly touching it so it spreads by itself, like so. At places where your paper is already drying up, maybe in those sections the paint will not spread as quickly as you want. So please help the paint move with your brush using some water on the tip of your brush. And then lastly, we will use the darkest shade of green and apply it on the outer border of the land and mix everything nicely. Be very careful when you're doing the outer borders. Turn your paper around if need be, and using the tip of the brush, cover those areas. If you blend the colors too much, you're going to lose the details of all the shades that we have used. So try not smudging the paint too much on paper, but simply let it bleed by itself. That is very important in watercolors. Okay, so that is the top portion of the land. Now let's go ahead and finish the bottom portion. I'm applying a layer of water, like always. Being very careful around the borders. Okay, and then after this piece of land is covered with a layer of water, I'm going to use the same set of shades that I used for the top portion, the yellow ochre followed by the yellowish green and then some fresh sap green and the darkest green in the end. So I'm going to place all my colors one by one. and mix them ever so slightly. I'm really liking the way it's looking, and the contrast of green and blue is really refreshing. Be careful around the border when you're placing the dark green. We don't want to place too much color. Okay, so now let's tackle the small piece of land on the right hand side. The small strip, using the exact same method. Cover it first with a layer of water and then start applying all the colors one by one. Yellow ochre, yellowish green, light green, and then the dark green. And let all the colors bleed into each other. Be careful when you're painting around the circumference. So we have covered all the green and blue sections of the earth, and now is the time that we wait for it to dry completely. And when your painting is dried up, we are going to paint the white clouds that are scattered on top of the water and the land. Like this. So to do this, I'm going to use my white gouache paint, which is nothing but opaque watercolor, which will be seen on top of the watercolor. You can also use a white gel pen if you like. And to do this, I'm using a small size brush and I'm dipping my brush straight into the tube to get some thick paint. I'm going to start placing this white paint on top of the blue water. And I'm making these really staggering brush marks which are not very perfect. Remember that we don't want to paint the white color, but we are just going to create some texture by gliding the brush softly and try to use thick paint so it does not flow on top of the previous layers. We want this white color to be seen in an opaque manner. So make sure that your white color is not spreading and stays on one place. It's only then that it's going to have the effect of clouds. I'm making random brush marks, making some small dots and creating texture which looks like clouds. This process may take some time, but please be patient till it starts to look beautiful. Be very light-handed. A little bit white texture on the right hand side as well. We are keeping it dense around the borders. I'm just stippling my brush, and whenever I feel that my brush is too dry, I'm dipping it again back into the paint. If you're using a white pen, it will be fairly easy. Now adding some texture on the top part. We are almost approaching the end. We will also place some clouds above the land. So make sure to draw some texture on top of the green part as well. And I think the earth is now starting to look complete. I hope yours is coming together too as we approach the end. And I'm just thinking, where else can I place the white color? Just a little bit more. And I think that should be it. So there you have it. Our earth is now complete and I think it's looking absolutely beautiful. If you want, you can also cut the earth along the circumference and either place it on a black sheet of paper to make a postcard, or you can even punch a hole through it and put in a string to convert it into a bookmark or an ornament and enjoy your art. And yes, if you still haven't subscribed to my channel, then please go and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you won't miss my new tutorials. Thanks and take care.